It's your boy TC with CS Files. Basically, it's all about common sense. I'm here tonight to have some very candid discussions about some powerful topics that we think are going to be interesting to you, as well as any young man that's in your life. I'm here tonight with Devin Johnson, my nephew, who is the founder of a new organization called Proud Fathers Foundation. I'm going to get it right. And we're going to be having some candid conversations about topics that I think would matter to most folks, which is preparing your children for encounters with law enforcement. We're going to be dealing with a very right now movie that most of you have heard about or seen called When They See Us, which is a great movie, but yet a very sad movie and situation about 5 young men who were falsely accused and sent to prison unjustly, and thank God exonerated later, but has made major headwaves in the news. Tonight we've got a very special guest joining us, my dear friend Blair Underwood, who played one of the lawyers in this movie, will be joining us live on the chat, and the goal here will be to have some very candid conversation about how to make better choices or empower our kids to make better choices when encountering law enforcement. Before I jump in, I want to quickly give Dev another opportunity to kind of tell us about Proud Fathers Foundation, which I'm here to support. Again, I'm here in Sandusky, Ohio, my hometown, broadcasting to make sure I include him in his organization, which I think he's doing some fantastic things here to get this thing off the ground. So give me a quick snip. What is it all about? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, pretty much Proud Fathers, we're a group of fathers that's, geared towards inspiring other fathers, encouraging other fathers, and supporting other fathers to be more active in their children's lives, and hopefully inspire guys that's not active to step up and make a difference in their children's lives. Also, we're here to support guys that are in their children's lives that are, dealing with daily struggles as a father that people don't talk about. Daily struggles as a father, where you have a child that doesn't live in a household, and the situations with that, dealing with child support and visitation and all the pitfalls that comes with being a father and trying to overcome some of those pitfalls. We're here to support those issues and make sure that you get the opportunity to be a proud father, and you get that recognition for being a proud father. So that's just pretty much a brief explanation of what the purpose and the goal is behind the foundation. So if you want to donate, you want to collab or anything like that, you can reach me on my Facebook. It's Proud Fathers Foundation. My Instagram is Proud Fathers Foundation. My email is proudfathersfoundation84@gmail.com. Or you can reach me on my Facebook, my personal page. Either way, Devin Johnson Sr. Either way, just reach out to me and we can work something out. We put something together. Women, if you got any suggestion of any guys, send them my way. Guys, don't feel too proud to ask for help. I don't know everything. I'm not the perfect father. Neither are you. And that's the purpose. And one of the points behind this is we can come together and build on each other. Because, like I said, I don't know everything. He don't know everything, and he don't know everything. Right. But through our experiences, we can learn from each other. So that's what we're doing with this Proud Fathers Foundation.
That's good stuff, man.
Let you know.
So I'm excited about it because I've been in this game a long time. You understand? Yeah. We didn't have no collaborative fellas coming together to talk about it. Right. We just went through it, and tried to just man up, and cried and everything else in the back room, and came out and tried to do the best that you know how to do. I mean, the fact that you can come together as young men and share stories. Here's what I like about it. You've gotten into this organization, young men, older men alike. Older guys can collab and impart into younger guys and keep y'all from going through some of the pitfalls that we done already been through. Younger guys can sharpen younger guys that older guys can't talk to because y'all in it together. So I think it's an amazing concept. I'm 200% behind anything you guys do. I believe that this is something that will make a major impact in any community. when you start getting fathers on board and getting fathers in the game and making sure fathers have equal support as mothers. You know, the systems are set up to take care of a mother and children. Ain't nobody got nothing going on for a father. And without the father, there's no family. And so it is so critical that we address this endangered species called dad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I heard somebody talking about on Father's Day, or that you know, one of the things you always hear is take care of your mom on Mother's Day. You only get one mom. You know, mom, you only get one dad. You know, you know what I'm saying? You might get some stepdads, but you only get one dad. So take care of your parents. And fathers are critical to the equation. And so making sure that we have the support that we need as young men, taking care of ourselves, not waiting for some system to take care of us, is huge, man. I can't say enough about it. So let me make sure I'm following this. So what we're going to be doing tonight is I will try and bring in some folks onto the live feed. Specifically, though, I want to make sure that I get Blair in when he chimes in, and I may have to all this technology, and we can't get nothing to work. So we done had to default back to FaceTime, y'all.
You know,
it ain't supposed to be this way.
It ain't supposed to be this difficult, brother. It ain't supposed to be this difficult.
It really ain't. But look here, man. So we've had some amazing conversation here, and you know how you and I chop it up, and I wanted an opportunity to do two things. Number one, really give you and that cast a shout out in terms of the movie, right? Because that right there, and I think everybody on here would agree. You know, I sat down with my daughter and watched the first episode. She was in tears so bad that I had to ask her if she could do the others. So she got herself together and we finished watching the final three. It's a life-changing movie, right? And what I talked to her about, as you've done with your kids, is let's really look at what we can do to make sure this don't ever happen. Because she could relate to these young men as friends her age. You know, she was like, those could be my friends. So, you know, we had some heart-to-heart about things that she needed to do if she were ever in that situation. And, you know, as a father, you want to be protective, but every time they go out the door and get in the car, they could be in that situation. So the movie itself, thank God, exonerated these young men and allowed them to get a second chance. Everybody don't get a second chance. It's some people sitting in right now, been there, might be there for a very long time. So today I wanted to address the fact that, A, there are things we need to be telling our children that could help stop that from happening, because we can't change the hearts of bad cops. But there are things that we can do to empower some of our students. And so I want to give you an opportunity to share out of being on that set. First and foremost, I understand it was so heavy. Y'all needed grief counselors? Like what's that about?
Well, it's about a lot, man. It's about a lot. Let me say this first before I dive into that. First of all, congratulations to you, and thank you for having this forum and this platform on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Just having these conversations about fatherhood and everything else
that
you're doing. So, brother, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Number two, I want to give big shout out and much respect to Ava DuVernay, who, of course, is the director and the producer, co-writer of all the episodes. Just a phenomenal human being, but also an incredible storyteller. So to create a piece of work that is artistic and authentic and realistic and poetic all at the same time, and affect and impact people when they see us is doing, that takes a true artist and a true humanitarian to do that, and that is Ava DuVernay. So to answer your question, so the grief counseling, man, was just about the fact that, you know, you do some projects sometimes, you play some roles sometimes, and it's not about acting. It's not about make-believe. And it's so close to your spirit and to your heart. We're already, as actors, dealing with emotions. Our job is to tap into those emotions and project that onto a stage or to a screen or to an audience and make you believe it. But in order for you to believe it as an audience, we have to believe it first. So you're connecting with emotions and very real-life trauma. Like, for me personally, playing an attorney who represents a young man, a young 14, 15-year-old child, basically, who's going to be sent to prison. You know, that creates all kinds of things inside of me, and everybody in that room, black and white for that matter, If you have a modicum of humanity inside of you, you're going to feel that. Yeah. So you have that dynamic, and you have these young men these actors, 14, 15 years old, 20 at the oldest, being able to access these emotions from a very raw place and bring it to the screen. So when you unleash those feelings, sometimes when they say cut and it's time to go home, it's hard to reconcile that. It's hard to kind of put it in the box. So to Ava's credit in that production team, they realized early on, we need to have some place where people can, for self-care, can put these emotions at the end of a shoot day, because this transcends entertainment. This transcends just doing a movie. It's real life, and we feel it. And part of that is this story. You say rightfully so, we hope this never happens again. Unfortunately, it's happening every day and as we speak. And when we say that that's happening, we're talking about false imprisonment. We're talking about coerced confessions. We're talking about people being profiled for all the wrong reasons. So those things are happening today. And until we continue to have these conversations and we put people on blast, whether it's bad cops or bad prosecutors, it'll continue to happen. So that's what I'm gratified and fulfilled and grateful that we're having this conversation, that this film has sparked this conversation.
Yeah. So overdue.
That was a long answer to your
But
question.
That's how we do though. I normally ask a question that take too long, and then you give me an answer twice as long. That's what we do. But no, I think that not only is it timely, but this has gone on for a very long time, right? And so right. So with that being said, it's a heavy subject. It bears hard on all of our hearts because we know someone that could easily be in that situation. But more importantly, what can we do to empower our own and others that we care about to limit as much as possible being snagged in a situation like that? What are your thoughts on that?
So that is a great question. There are a couple things that come to mind. The first thing, this issue that you and I are having, TC, right now with technology, that's what's changed the game since 1989 when this happened. Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's a photojournalist.
Yeah.
So everybody has something to put them, the cops or the bad actors, if you will, the bad players, on blast.
Right.
In a lot of cities today, a lot of cops, I would say probably the majority of cops either do or will have body cameras.
Right.
So that helps our conversation when we're in trials or fighting a case. The other thing, just more pragmatic and practical in the moment, is, brother, I'm gonna tell you like I tell my two sons and tell my daughter and anybody who will listen, especially if you have beautiful brown skin that we're draped in. If you are stopped by a cop, do not escalate the situation. Do not listen. It's going to be your word against theirs, and it may be their bullet up against or in your head.
Yeah.
Do not escalate the situation. What we have to do, and that's what I tell my kids, do what you have to do in that moment. Comply with what they ask. You feel me?
Yeah.
Comply with what they ask in that moment, and just know if there's any wrongdoing, you're gonna have feedback on the back end, which means you can either go to the press, you go to the media. Now everybody's got social media. You put them on blast. Another thing I would say is when you get stopped by a cop, you can put your phone on, and that helps to put the camera in their face. That may escalate the situation. I got stopped by the cops about a month ago. I was talking to my brother at the time, and I said, "Yo, man, I got to get off the phone and get stopped by the cops." What I did was turned on the records for audio. So at the very least, record audio. If you can do camera, cool. But if it starts to escalate the situation, they got a gun. Most often, you don't. So if they say put the camera down, put it down, but press record. So you have some kind of recording to show right from wrong.
Right.
Who's doing wrong, who's doing right.
Right. And it don't matter who you are. I know you and I had some conversations a long time ago about, the fact that, star power don't give you a pass, right? So, there were some things that happened to you years ago that I think you shared with me in terms of just getting caught up. And again, star power meant nothing. If you got just that bad cop, he just that bad cop. That might have made your situation worse,
Bro, I had cops pull me over, guns drawn for speeding. I was like, yeah, I was speeding because I tend to speed. I'm just saying, bro.
That's because what you driving. Yeah.
I'm saying, I'm not mad at that. So
right.
give me a ticket. You ain't got to pull pulled the guns and all that and got crazy. So no, that's happened. I had a cop put a gun to my head. And this is why I say to people, do not escalate the situation, because I escalated that situation.
Yeah.
This is when I came out here. I was maybe 1989, I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And I was coming home, and basically he pulled me over for no reason, so I had an attitude.
Right.
He said, this your car? I said, yeah, it is. So right now I've escalated the situation. I got
Right.
an attitude, and I'm projecting it at him. He's
Yeah.
got a gun.
Right.
He said, you have a license? I said, yeah, I do. He said, can I see it? I said, yeah, I mean, yeah. I was young and dumb, bro. I was young and dumb.
Right.
He put his gun right to my temple. He said, this is no BS.
Wow.
I didn't say BS.
Right.
So I learned then, I said, man, I could have had my brain splattered all over my car.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real talk. Real
Yeah.
talk. So no matter how mad you are, no matter how frustrated you are, no matter how angry you are, no matter how unjust that moment is, we need you to come home.
Yeah.
We need you to be safe.
That
and
is
one other thing that I'd like to say this in terms of what's come out of a lot of the conversation out of this film is that know your rights. Know that you have the right, even if it's trampled upon. If you're ever pulled over or you have to go to the jailhouse, don't sign anything. Know that you have the right to have an attorney before you answer anything. You have the right to remain silent. Those are your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Now, you may have a bad cop who's trying to make you talk, do whatever else, but just know that that's your right. And know that just, if you got to be quiet for that moment, just know that you got some payback.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't know your rights, that's what happened when they see us. These kids, they were kids, man. 14, 15, 16 years old. They just wanted to go home. So when you're dealing with sleep deprivation, they haven't slept in hours, and you got people breathing down your neck who are skilled antagonists, if you will, to ask the right thing, to get the answer that they want. Not necessarily the truth, but the answer that they want. They're going to push every envelope. So you just got to know, if you ever get arrested, don't sign anything unless you got an attorney or a parent if you're a child.
Real talk. It's crazy that we have to have this type of conversation, but it is so very real in the world that we live in. And, it breaks my heart when I think about the fact that young people who don't get that message, don't get that counseling, can so easily get swooped up. I was talking to my nephew today. Here's another thing. As parents and as grown folk, we have to take accountability for how we vent those issues in front of our children. See, when we at home, this is twofold. Bad cops are basically being taught bad things in their home. That ain't just haphazard. As I said, that's an issue of the heart. A bad cop, that's an issue that is hereditarily instilled. His uncles talk crazy. His daddy talk crazy. His 4 best friends, who is his future, talk crazy. That's who he rolls with. And he becomes that one bad cop that taints the entire force. My point, though, is we equally can set our own children up for failure, venting truth in front of them. Here's what that looks like. I wish a cop would, and yada, yada, yada. Now your 17-year-old go out that night. Daddy been talking crazy about the cops. Uncle been talking crazy. Mama been talking crazy. Rightfully so. Rightfully so for certain reasons. But now this 17-year-old got his chest puffed up, and he get pulled over because a cop either doing right or wrong, he get pulled over. The guy's got a badge. He can pull you over. My point is, at that stage, because of what he has possibly heard at home, his response is wrong. And there goes the situation. So I'm saying we got to take responsibility for some of that rhetoric and make sure that we are empowering our kids and not just filling them with, like I said, sometimes rightfully so, anger at the current situation. But we got to be careful because they're 17, they're 16, and them going out trying to solve that problem ain't going to help the situation.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's what kind of gives some of these young brothers that chutzpah in the moment. They say, no, I'm not dealing with this. Not today. That's not going to happen today.
Right.
Like with anything, whether it's a relationship, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, business, whatever it may be, it behooves us oftentimes to put ourselves in that other person's shoes.
Right.
I have a lot of cops in my family.
Right.
Part of this conversation, TC, next time you do this, think about getting some brothers who are cops.
Right.
To have this conversation, because
my
grandfather was a cop, my uncle Ernest was a cop, my cousin is a detective. So they will tell you, say, look, we want to go home to our families too.
Right.
You know, so
right.
If I roll up on you, let me qualify it. We know they're bad cops. I'm not talking about the bad cops. Some of them are lost cops. They're going to be some bad cops. I'm talking about just by and large. If they roll up on you, they're trying to get home too. So if you do anything or say anything that's going to make them feel like they need to protect themselves in that moment,
right?
You are literally, it's no exaggeration, putting your lives in their hands.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And I would hope a lot of other hosts wouldn't be comfortable putting your lives in the hands of somebody who doesn't even know you has got a gun.
Yeah.
And is scared. And
yeah.
scared that you're going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And let's be clear. They deserve to go home. They do a tough job for a little bit of money. I literally, just had a conversation with a College Park detective last week, 35-year-old cat, been on the force 11 years, and I asked him some of these very questions in preparation, and he told me out of his own mouth. He said, the problem is 90% of the time, even with my camera running, when I stop cats, they go sideways. I can't even have a basic conversation. Yeah. He said in the area that he's patrolling, 90%. That depends on where you at. See what I'm saying? And he is up in a place like that, which what it ultimately does for it taints him as an individual. You begin to think all people are bad when all you are in is a cesspool every day. That happens to cops who patrol bad areas. You just begin to paint everybody as crazy and bad. And that ain't the truth. And that goes both ways. And then we paint cops bad. All cops bad. Because I done seen 3 videos today. It's 50 million cops. It's 17,000 police departments. All cops ain't bad. So it's one of those situations where we have to de-escalate in our own mind in a comfort zone of being able to think before you get into these situations. And that's why I'm having this conversation. We need to be talking about this before we get in a situation. And you need to be talking to your young people. And you need to be mindful of how we vent, because we got rightfully so times where we absolutely can do that. Because there's some craziness going on. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we want to solve the problem and not add to the problem. And more importantly, I want everybody to go home. I want the cops to go home. I want the kids to go home. I want to go home. I don't want to see no craziness. I want to go home. Everybody need to go home. Everybody deserve to go home. And be safe. That's real talk right there, man. Real talk. Well, B, I just want to thank you, man, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I'm so
it's about an hour longer than I expected.
Well, but that's how it is. Sometimes we're gonna have to do a better job.
Listen, I love having this conversation.
Yeah,
because it's necessary and it's important. And the fact that you're doing it as a brother, as a black man, and talking through the prism of fatherhood is a beautiful thing, man. Real talk.
Tell me one other thing. So you talked a little about something that I've been doing for quite a while, which is cyberbullying, and I've been doing a lot of stuff, forever with smartphone safety and all that. I know you recently got involved with a new cyberbullying sort of program. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's called Dignity for All. And it's through an organization called Urban Tech. And I got involved with them about 4 or 5 years ago. Urban Tech basically connects underserved communities with technology.
Nice.
Try to bridge that digital divide. This is another offshoot of what the work they're doing, which is to try to combat cyberbullying, but also bullying inside the schools. So we have a pilot program in one of the schools in Brooklyn, New York, which I visited about a month ago when I was back in New York. And we're trying to build it out to just 1,000 different schools, at least 1,000 different schools in the country. And, listen, by trade, I'm an actor, so I like acting things out. And that's the one thing these kids really related to. They love, because they would do it every Monday in that school, like once a week. Talk about the curriculum, talk about the program, but they love the acting out of, what do you do when somebody says this? What do you do when somebody does this to you? How do you respond? How do you stand up for somebody? How do you stand in the gap for somebody when they're being bullying? So it is cyberbullying, but it's also a curriculum that we're putting into schools. It's called Dignity for All.
I love that. So when me and you gonna act that out in a skit at a school? What we waiting on?
Hey, don't say that, 'cause I'm gonna holler at you.
I already know. Let's go.
That's right.
Oh, good, man. Man, again, appreciate you, boy, for taking time out. You know how we do. Much love. Tell the fam I said, hey, again, I think we all in the same boat. We about to be empty nesters up in this joint. We going to have to just jump on some planes and ball out, boy, because I'm putting the last one out this year. It's good.
Hey, well, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to boomerang back.
Always.
Hey, real quick, let me give a shout out to the two brothers too in the room with you, because I saw the two brothers. I was watching the feed while I was trying to get on.
Nice,
But
nice.
Two young fathers on the couch. So
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
God bless you too. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
That,
Yeah, man. You have a good one.
that's my nephew, Devin Johnson, and his boy. Yeah, this Proud Fathers thing is, hopefully we're going to be big with this, because I love what he's doing. It's straight from the heart, and I told him that alone should make it a success, man. So good stuff. Definitely.
Keep doing that. We need it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, sir. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Okay, we'll chat. Peace. So, even in the midst of technical difficulties, y'all, we pulled it off. No, first of all, I don't know why. This is like the third or fourth time with Facebook Live, I could not get somebody into the feed.
Were you hitting the wrong button?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. Blair and them be having secret encrypted sites and stuff. He can't just be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you ain't got that much access.
we going to have to talk to your social media person, because they probably got y'all on lockdown.
Yeah.
So people, you know what I'm saying? So that might have been a little bit of it. And I know his sister Melissa laughing. Melissa, would you check into that? Because I think they got him on like lock, and him and Desi can't just be talking to people like that. But, we common folk. Anybody can get on my feed, you know what I'm saying? They show up at the house from this. So, but yeah, that's good stuff, man. In wrapping this up, and it's been a great hour conversation. The real takeaway here is the fact that we are living in a society where it is polarized in so many ways. I don't want to get into the politics of all of that. And if we don't take a step back and examine the polarization that is happening in our communities at the state, federal, local levels, then we are bound to just get caught up in madness, right? Be it politics, police, black and white, and all, it's just crazy. So, one of the things that I would beg or ask everybody that is watching this feed to not only do but share with others is to take a step back and try and find some positive things in all of this rhetoric, right? Devin has decided in the midst of all that's going on to focus on one of the most positive things you will ever do in life, and that's be a father. You know what I'm saying? I challenged the students of Sandusky High some years ago with the fact that as millennials, with the smartphone in your hand, you are the most technologically advanced students on the face of the earth in the history of mankind. In the history of mankind. Your smartphone has more power than the first Apollo mission that went to the moon. In your hand. So what will you do with it? Will it simply be about DMing folks and chats and foolishness and who's twerking more than others? Or will you use that power for good? And so what you've done is taken a step in the right direction. We're bringing in, the world through social media to a cause that is vital to our very existence, fatherhood. And I want tonight's episode to leave with that. I challenge you all to take a look at technology. We use it in so many ways. It's good, it's got bad, it's got ups and downs. It's not going anywhere. I've been in it over 30 years. I can say that I was here when the cell phone was invented or started, and this is going to be a part of our lives forever. So now the question is, with all of that power, that ability to reach people, to communicate messages, what will you do with it? Let's take a challenge to find some good with the technology that we possess and make a difference. It's easy to spot what's wrong. The next step is, now what do we do about it? We know all the things that are wrong. We done put video. First of all, I think we're over the fact that if I can just videotape some wrongdoing, the system will fix it. Well, Rodney King proved that ain't the case, okay? So just collecting data on what's wrong is not enough. It needs to be done, but more importantly, we have the power to make some differences. And so I hate feeling powerless. I hate thinking that the whole world can get me at any time. First of all, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? And as a man of faith, I don't believe God intends for me to be beat down. So therefore, with the power that we've been given in technology, we have and should have the ability to take this technology and do good things. Find ways of solving these problems that we know we have in our community. Starting organizations that can empower people, but more importantly, using this amazing technology that we have in the palm of our hands to make a difference is what we should be focusing on in 2019 and beyond, right? And again, here's a technology that your 5-year-old and your 30-year-old child has in the palm of their hand. We can change lives drastically if we do something good with it, right? So I want to say, first of all, just thank you guys. Thank you, Dev. It's been a long time coming in terms of pulling this organization together. We talked about this a long time ago. We steamed up the car windows and cried and all kinds of stuff. And yet here you are, right? So very proud of you as an uncle. Anything, again, that I can do to help, I'm all about it. I want to ask anybody out there who is a father to absolutely connect with us. Devin is doing some great work. He's just getting started. We could absolutely use your ideas, your prayers, your money, anything you got that will aid in taking this message to the world to better position young men to be fathers, to be leaders, to be sons and brothers and all of the above. And, I can't leave without saying this. As much as we talk about the fatherhood message, it is important across all ethnicities, but let me just basically make it 100. The black father is an endangered species, people. This is an endangered species. We are by far the most dysfunctionally based family unit in America. When you look at the amount of households who come to the world as single parents. And so I'm challenging my brothers, not my white brothers as well, but let me put a special challenge out to my black brothers to absolutely man up on this fatherhood game. Listen, you ain't got to be perfect. I have screwed it up in more ways than I can begin to tell you, okay? I probably am screwing it up daily, but I have a desire to get it right. So I'm willing to go back and atone for where I messed it up. I'm willing to go back and learn from it. And more importantly, each day I get up, I'm trying to be better at it. So this is not about being a perfect dad. That does not exist. Not as long as you're here on earth in these imperfect bodies. But you can be a good dad. You can be a father who takes pride in the role, the biggest, most important role you will ever feel outside of corporate or inside of corporate America is being a father. So take that challenge and be a father, because it will change the world in ways that you will never understand. We can all think back on our experiences with our fathers, good or bad. They shape us, both good and bad. I've always liked to take the bad and use it for good, and I hope my children have done the same. I done screwed some stuff up. Don't do what I did, right? And I had to already come back and apologize to you about some things. Don't do that. We already know that don't work. You ahead of the game. See what I'm saying? So that's the message that I really want to challenge us with as men in general, but just as a society. Let's focus on finding ways of making things better and not just dwelling on what's wrong. We can get really bogged down in that. It's a pretty depressing, story if you read all the wrong news feeds and things of that nature. And I just think that we have the ability, more power than we probably realize, to make things better.
And based off of that's one of the things that here need to start for our fathers, because so much attention is shown towards the negative side of fatherhood.
Right.
You rarely hear about how good this dad did, the sacrifices this guy did
Sure.
for his kids. You rarely hear that, except for on Father's Day.
On Father's Day.
And even then, you get a lot of...
You get some draws, and some socks, and a tie that you ain't gonna wear.
And we gotta cook.
And we gotta cook.
Gotta fire that grill up. Absolutely.
Gotta fire the grill up, right?
Yeah, so...
Right, it's bigger than that.
So what I wanted to do was show the positive side.
Absolutely.
Give guys a platform to be proud of being a dad, man, because the fact that you get drowned out with so much negative noise about what he didn't do, how he did this, and that, you don't hear about, we just get pushed to the side, and we get mixed in with the negatives and the bad fathers, and from the baby moms to the court systems. we get the bad end, the short end of the stick.
Right.
And like I said, I want to give fathers a platform to where they can be proud about being a father and encourage guys to be proud and want to be that. You know, because like I said, when you're not getting the recognition, no, we don't do it for recognition, but it always feels good when somebody pats you on the back and tells you you're doing a good job. Absolutely. And not being funny, but women get that all the time. Single moms, oh, she's doing this, she's going to school, da-da-da-da. You don't rarely hear about the guy that's going to school, who just got custody of his kids, who got to find a babysitter, who need assistance, don't know how to go about getting assistance or any of that stuff, or he may be too proud to even ask for help, or don't have an avenue to ask for help. So what I want to do is create that avenue for that guy and any other guy, because we don't have that.
I agree.
And that's what I'm here for. That's what the foundation is here for. And a ton of other things also, but based on that particular subject, where all the attention is based on the negative side. Right. We're changing that. It's going to be the positive side of fatherhood. That's exactly what you're going to get when you get Proud Fathers Foundation. You're going to get the positive side of fatherhood.
That's awesome.
Flat out.
That's awesome. I can't say enough about it. Like I said, we're looking forward to you doing great things. Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing any role you want me to in terms of helping make it successful. And then more importantly, we should all be looking for great things to come out of that. The ripple effect of that is bigger than everybody in this room. And that's what it's all about. So,
I did it for a personal gain.
Absolutely.
I did it because I seen it was necessary.
It was necessary.
I'm looking at a lot of kids running around here that don't have guidance and they need mentors. Yeah. And I thought about starting a mentoring, group. But
all that can flip in it.
Yes, and absolutely it's going to come from that. My thing was, what better mentors to have in a child's life than their father? Gotcha. You understand? Why should I have to send my kids to you for them to learn how to be a man? Right. I need to be a man myself to impart that into my children. Now maybe they can get some things from you, also myself, but I'm not going to put that sole responsibility on you as the mentor to teach my kids things that I'm supposed to be putting inside of them. You understand? So that's what I want to encourage. And like I said, I'll continue to talk about it till I'm blue in the face.
That's all good, man. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do more than talk about it. We're going to be about it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
I want to, again, thank you guys. We're about 5 over. I like to do things in a timely manner, but we had some technical challenges today, but we got over them. See how we overcame? We overcame. We shall overcome the technical difficulties up in this piece.
We'll get greater later.
And I just can't believe that I had that many technical difficulties. But listen here, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this special episode. I'm going to really try to get back on track with Saturday episodes of CS Files, because listen, common sense ain't common, and I think that this is just one of those subjects that ultimately we should be talking about. Maybe we're not. Hopefully we are now. And I want to continue in that vein. So we got a YouTube page up that can also, you can go back and look at all of the various episodes that I've done for CS Files. And I've got a podcast coming soon where we're going to be pulling a lot of audio from this into that. And then we'll see where this takes me. For me, this is just an expansion of who I am and what I do. And I just felt like it was a need to pour back into others with a platform that I was comfortable with, which is speaking. And I think most of you know I'm extremely shy, and I'm working on coming out of my shell. And this is just a way that I can do that, right? So again, I appreciate you guys for hanging with us today. And I'm hoping you're having an amazing weekend. And more importantly, I hope y'all took care of Dad on Father's Day. And if you didn't, it's never too late. He will still accept in draws and that little polka dotted tie. It'll mean something to him in about 10, 20 years, okay? But either way, do what you need to do. Take care of Dad. That's all I have right now.
Also, I just want to quickly put this out there. Be on the lookout for Proud Fathers podcast. It should be up and running within another week or so. I'm looking to do it every Friday. It'll be Proud Fathers Fridays, so I'll be inviting guests on to talk about different topics dealing with fatherhood and to try to tackle some of the issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month, week-to-week, year, every, anything that you can think of. I'll be taking suggestions on topics. Also, like I said, I'll have guests that I'll invite onto the show so that we can talk about this, you know, and get different perspectives on that topic. So just keep a lookout for Proud Fathers Fridays, the podcast.
And CS Files will continue Saturdays at 3 p.m. EST. So I think that's all we got for y'all today. I'm going to enjoy the fact that, listen, it stopped raining in Sandusky, y'all.
Man, please hold on.
I saw Noah putting the ark back together again yesterday. Yeah, I ain't talking about my nephew. I'm talking about Noah was back. He was down on the bay building a new ark, and it's crazy up in this joint, y'all. But no, it's all good. It's good to be home. Always good to visit, and equally good to leave. So we'll be around for a few days, and it's a beautiful day today, so I'm enjoying it. I want to say shout out to my mom. I came home for her birthday. Yes. Happy birthday, Mom. Had a great day yesterday. We had a pizza party and did some fun stuff, and going to do some more fun stuff tomorrow for her. So y'all give her a shout out. That's Dorothy Kent on the stream there. Y'all make sure y'all reach out and say happy birthday to my mom. All right? With that, y'all, I'm going to pull back. Like I said, it's been great. Thank you for joining us. And in parting, you know, as I always say, you know, do everything in the world that's good for you and good to you, right? If it ain't good for you or good to you, get it out of your life. With that, hope to see you guys next Saturday, since we did a Friday. Next Saturday at 3 p.m. right back here on my page, all right? Have a great day, have a great weekend, and thanks again for joining.